Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because banks are on the verge of going out of business. And could it be that the credit cards is the thing that brings them down? And we're going to cover all this in this short video today. But before I get into it, please take a second. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Plus, we have an email list too that you guys can sign up for, and the link is below. And today we have a sponsor, Fission 3.0, and I will talk about them a little later. But let's get right into it. Credit card debt has gone up higher than it's ever been right now, and more people are living on their credit cards than ever before. The problem with this is that people are broke. You're starting to see people get laid off in a huge way, and you're starting to see numbers that we haven't seen ever with that happening. And you can sit there and say everything's going to be okay, but one thing that I preach to my friends, to my family members, even some of my enemies, I say get yourself out of debt, because you need to understand that you could have a hiccup and not earn money like you used to for an extended period of time. And what would you do? Now, for those of you that know this or don't know this, when you make a credit card, you have a credit card and you get a balance on that, they send you a payment based on your statement, and the payment is due. If you let it go beyond 30 days on your payment and the next statement comes out, then they ding you on your credit. Now, if they let it go 2 months, 3 months, then it's basically in the charge-off territory. Yes, you get 1,000 phone calls, and yes, they're looking for you during that time, but that is the problem that people get, is that if you get beyond 3 months, usually within the 4th month, they charge off the debt and they start sending it to collection agencies, and they write it off and put it on your credit. You have a huge amount of credit card debt right now that's going to charge off right now. Now think about this. The best credit card of all of them that has the lowest amount of charge-offs right now is American Express. They're at 0.7%. The average right now is 1.5%, which is very high right now. It's incredibly high. The highest of all of them is the Discover card, which floored me. It's almost 4%, the card that pays you back. They're very worried right now because a lot of people right now are not paying their bills, and they're seeing delays. They're seeing more people at 30 and 60 days than they have seen in an extended period of time. Now, think about this. In November of 2022, the average was just over 1%, 1.1%, and it was a 16-month high. Now, you go 2 months later, and it's almost 1.6%, and it's an 18-month high. This is in the wrong direction, guys. Now, the 6 major credit card issuers are American Express, Bank of America, Capital One, Citigroup, Discover, JP Morgan, and Chase. Now, when you look at these numbers as a whole, you've got to look at the economy and look at all the layoffs. Yesterday's video covering all those massive layoffs. Not everybody can pay their bills. And the thing that I am floored by as I talk to friends, as they start to get honest in 2023, and they start to say, hey, I think I got to work on my finances because I'm so behind, and I'm so at risk of things going upside down. Well, better late than never, guys. I mean, I don't want to slam my friends and tell them how stupid they are that they've gotten themselves in these positions, but you need to start working on this now, because it's going to get to a point that it's going to be too late. So they're anticipating that banks are going to put together billions of dollars right now. Bank of America has got almost $4 billion set aside for bad loans. Discover, $4.5 billion right now. They don't think that they have enough. American Express, let's face it, American Express is a little more snooty, and they have, you've got to have somebody that really lost it, usually, to not pay their American Express bill, because it's not your conventional charge card. I mean, it's a charge card and not a credit card. They have credit, programs and things like that. But this is fascinating, guys, that you're seeing all this stuff. But you're definitely seeing the banks that are warning and worried about this. Good old Jamie Dimon is sitting there saying that we're going to see a complete downturn when it comes to bad loans, and that we need to get ready for this. Well, once again, if the economy is so good, why are we seeing this downturn? And because it's not good right now, and people are living on these cards on a daily basis, and using it to get by. So that's what we're seeing right now. Share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. Let's talk about our sponsor, Fission 3.0. Their ticker symbol is FISOF. And they're a very inexpensive uranium company. And one thing that you guys have asked for is different things in the uranium space. Bob Kudla's been on the show a bunch of times. What's the number one thing that he has mentioned over the course of the last 5 months? And that's uranium. Now, Fission is led by a man named Dev Randhawa, who, I'm telling you guys, when it comes to uranium, this guy might as well be the Amir Adnani of uranium. And he is definitely somebody that is going places. The company has all these different exciting projects. They have 16 different projects that they're working on right now. And it is a very inexpensive mining company, but they've had tremendous amount of success. And Dev's background is not only picking brilliant projects, he's had 2 successful uranium projects already. That's why they hence named this Fission 3.0, because this is the 3rd one, guys. So with the 3rd one, big things are going to happen. Now, when it comes to mining and when it comes to power and countries, think about this. Every country needs to have power, but every country wants to have their own power. So the easiest way to do that is to stay away from things that create problems and to look at uranium as a whole, because this is the future. When you look at Europe, that's going towards uranium again. When you look at Japan, that is going towards uranium again. When you look at Asia, when you look at France, they're all going towards going nuclear. And they need to have companies like Fission 3.0 that they can have access to. Now, here's the thing. You've got a company that is what they call a prospect generator. They've had tremendous amount of success. And like I said, Dev is just basically Amir Adnani in the uranium space. And I'm not trying to minimize Dev's background, but Dev is brilliant at building management teams. And everybody that he brings on is also world-class when it comes to the mining space. And that's what he's done here. He also is great at raising money. There's nothing to worry about with cash flow. The company, basically, FISOF, has a $100 million market cap right now. Now, when you look at a company like Fission, you have to look at a few things. First thing is the team that's invested in this. Eric Sprott, who is basically a legend when it comes to mining and different investments in uranium and metals, this guy's in. And you have to look at the mining results that they've had when they're digging. Right now, when you dig for uranium, if you have a 0.2% success rate, and that's what you're getting out of the ground, as far as the nuggets and as far as the uranium you're digging up, the advantage to Fission's 3.0 is that they're having 20 times that result. It is insane. It's absolutely unbelievable. It is incredibly inexpensive right now. Now, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not telling you how to invest. Do your own due diligence. But when you look at something like this, think about it this way. If you follow basketball, imagine in 1991 when Michael Jordan won his first title, okay? And you just knew that there was a success that was going to come with Michael Jordan. That's what you've got right now with Fission 3.0. You got 5 more titles on the way with these guys. Again, Dev Randhawa has put together a management team that's unlike anybody else in the industry. You're going to see major success for it, but their mines are producing, and they've got, they're digging basically a hole a week. And I've seen interview after interview with this guy where he's talking about the success of what they're doing and how they're constantly digging. And this is a big deal because there is not enough uranium right now to go around. You need to have uranium, and the demand is going to be exponentially bigger as the energy crisis grows. And if you think that there's going to be something that's going to settle this and solve it, and you're kidding yourself. This is only going to get exponentially worse. Let's look at the numbers. Okay, very simple. Fission 3.0 is in huge demand right now. Okay, when you look at nuclear power as a whole, they anticipate by 2050 that it's going to double in demand right now. Think about this. Belgium, France, even Wackadoo, California, is all going back to nuclear power because of the demand. They cannot keep things open. You need to have something that's going to, fulfill the electrical demand and fulfill the demand for manufacturing, cities, everything. That's why Fission 3.0 is really hot right now. Take a look at FISOF. Also, don't just take my word for it. Look at Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley says the best investment for 2023 will be uranium. So take a look at that, guys. I really think that there's something here. It's an inexpensive stock. You guys, have asked time and again for something different, and the uranium is the future, guys, right now. So take a look at Fission 3.0, their ticker symbol again, FISOF. Now, one final thing about Fission 3.0 is look at the Saskatchewan region as an investment whole. It's basically one of the #1 areas in the whole world for mining right now. They've had 60 years of mining in the Athabasca region and had tremendous success for it. This area produces 13.2% of all the uranium right now. So again, guys, this is like getting in very early for a winner. Take a look at Fission 3.0, FISOF, again, well under 40 cents a share right now. And this is something that could multiply 5, 6, 10 times. Take a look at it, do your own due diligence, but I really think that Fission 3.0 is a winner. When you look at the management team, you look at the company profile below, and you look at the presentation, I really think that there's something there. But take a look at FISOF today, guys. Now, it's anticipated that we're going to see 2 more interest rate increases from the Fed of only 0.25%. That came out of Reuters. But what Reuters is saying is that people need to be ready for this, and people need to understand that everything is going to be more expensive as a result of this. Now, talked about Discover a little earlier. They are having huge problems with their stock price right now because they have huge problems with the potentials for charge-offs. And the places that gave people credit on a whim when everybody had money, those are the people that are going to have the most amount of problems as far as the banks are concerned. It is anticipated that we're going to see a global shutdown with the banking system, and you're going to see massive failures in the economy globally. Now, one thing that I'm very lucky about is I get to talk to people from around the world and tell me how bad it is in the UK, Australia, Italy, everywhere. So it's not just here in the States. People have no dough. France, same thing. They're running out of money right now, and the credit is drying up right now. And here's the other thing is that I'm telling you guys, look at your credit card statements. If you can get a paper statement, do it just so that you can see the charges, because people don't want to open the statements. And I had a friend of mine, I haven't opened my statement in 4 months. You're a fool. Okay, all I know is I don't have any credit. Well, maybe there's extra charges or something about that you don't know about yet. So you got to take a look at this, and you've got to look at everything as a whole right now, because it's not just here. And if you understand that, and you understand that things are going to get worse, then you've got to make changes financially for your own life and for everything that you're doing. Spend less, be more frugal when it comes to this stuff, and think twice about putting things on the card unless you have to. There's an advantage to doing a debit card over a credit card. There really is. But, there's things that you get from the credit card companies, and I get them too, guys. I get all these incentives and cash back and Discover and all that stuff. But look at, is it necessary to put that on the card? Are you paying the card off? It's funny. I have one card that I use so much during the month. I make 5 and 6 payments sometimes in a month on the card just to maintain it and use it for the discounts and the travel and all that stuff back. So if anybody does that, let me know. Now, have you guys heard of ChatGPT? This is a company that was launched on November 30th, and it is basically an open source AI program that can write letters, design things, do a lot of stuff for you that Google can't. And it's so threatening to Google right now, and it's taken off so much, and they have a $39 billion market value right now that Sergey and Larry Page are coming back. The founders of Google are coming back to the office and going to come back and work to combat Chat GPT. Now, I own a bunch of domain names, and one of them is an AI domain name, and all of a sudden there's a flurry of interest in the domain name, and it's because of this. So I've sold domains in the past when there's been different hype and things like this, and this thing may get launched. And if it does, I'll tell you guys what we did with it. Part of me wants to keep it just to see what's going to happen, because you're going to see crazy um, innovation and crazy things happen. But this is going to be a a white collar killer, because think about this. Certain tech positions are not needed if you have open source AI. And it is out of Terminator, guys. It is spooky stuff that makes it so that things get written on their own, and you can have blog posts written, you can have websites created, you can have so much done from this. And it's basically tell it what to do and it'll do it for you. It's crazy, but it's also unemotional, which brings up another thing. In business, one thing I always do with, hey, how do I deal with my kids? Dan, your kids are well-rounded. They talk to everybody. Well, I insisted a few things, guys, with my children. Do this with your grandkids, your kids, your nephews, your nieces. If they're going to text you, it's not see ya with a CYA. It's full sentences. Also, make them call people. Make them ask people out on dates. Make them get on the phone and talk to people and communicate. These people and these kids that don't communicate, that's going to destroy their future. And you can sit there and say, well, everybody does it. It doesn't make it right. It makes them unhireable. It makes them, become a big dolt. And I really think that people need to learn communication skills right now when it comes to business, to say the least. But get your finances in order, get your money in order, look at what's happening around you, and trim the fat any way you can right now. One thing that's fascinating when it comes to car sales is that 10% of all cars that were sold last year were EV cars, which is great, okay, if you're into the EV car game. And the percentage of Tesla market share is dwindling. So you're starting to see more and more players in the EV space right now. Now, here's the one thing that's utterly fascinating is that a subscriber sent me this story where GM is spending an absolute fortune to push its 8-cylinder Chevy trucks and Chevy motors. So they're not abandoning gasoline and combustible engines. They're just not going to do it, but they're spending more money on the EV market right now. That's one thing that they said. So final thing is, again, Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon is talking about remote work. And he does not want workers to work remotely because there's no accountability, no spontaneity, which is like, hey, meet me in the conference room now. You don't have that. And you have people, and there's a delay, the guy's playing video games, the guy's watching Jerry Springer and doing things like that. No, you want to be able to get people to where they have to respond immediately. And the only way to do that is in an office. Now, he did say that women work better remotely than men do. Maybe they're just better workers, who knows? But I think the women that I know that have been successful remotely, that take care of their kids and do things like that, they don't neglect their job. These are successful women that are grateful for the opportunity to make sure that they can pick their kids up at 3 o'clock and do things like that. That's worked really well for them. So do you guys work for a company that does remote work? Are you seeing them cut back? So many places are cutting back and bringing people in. Disney, 4 days a week mandatory. You got to come in the office right now. So, gosh, the tide's really low out here right now. It's just nice. But share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. So the banks are very worried about the credit card debt. That is a huge problem. It really is. And it's going to be something that's going to cost them billions of dollars. And in the game, think about this. You can sit there and say the economy's turning around. What if it gets worse from here? And the delinquencies are as bad as they are right now. They're only going to exponentially get worse right now. I am telling you, if you're in business and anybody owes you money, you're a one-woman show, you're a one-man band, and you're out there, you're a consultant, and you're getting slow paid by anybody, be the squeaky wheel. Get paid right now, because I'm telling you, you're not the only one that they owe money to. And everybody that tells you story. Hey, we thought we'd have our check by this time. We're going to give it to you. They all think that they invent those stories. And I've been there, guys. I've been broke and I've had to do that. And the problem with it is you don't want to be their problem. You want them to have somebody else to be the problem. You know what I mean? Get your money right now. Take a look at Fission 3.0, our sponsor today. But also look at your credit card debt. Look at the fees. Look at the percentages. It's crazy. If you can consolidate your debt, do it, but be disciplined to put the cards in a drawer, because all my credit cards are sitting in a drawer other than the ones I use for gas and for the extra things like that. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. Let me know what you think. I just think it's gonna get worse, guys, and nobody wants to look at that. So share your thoughts on this. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.